Join us on a journey beyond reason, where we have chats and discussions about the in between and far beyond.
Are you a skeptic? Are you a naysayer? Are you on the fence on whether or not you believe in the afterlife, spirit, tarot cards, astrology? Or are you one of those people that really are a warrior to prove that people like us aren't being honest? If you're interested in learning more about it, if you want to hear what we have to say about it, well, that's what we're going to do today. And how are you? Do you want to start or do you want me to start?
Well, I can start because I actually have an experience in my head
An experience.
right now. An experience.
Is it a tarot card experience or a...
Yes.
All right, cool. Tell me.
So let me see here. It was, what year was that? About 2014, I think, or 2013. It was 2013, end of 2013. And I had a friend that I was working with, and I brought my cards to the office, and I started throwing cards for everyone there. And my one friend goes, "Hey, I have a sister who loves this stuff. Do you think you'd be willing to do a reading for her?" And I said, "Absolutely. Sure, let's set it up." So he set it up at this coffee shop place, and this was in California. And I met her. And oh my gosh. It was, I think from what I remember, she was the first real skeptic. Her body language was like,
yeah, closed.
And just stiff and, poker face, no expression. And okay, go ahead. I'm not going to believe you no matter what you say. It was like the body language of that. And I thought, okay, fine, great. I love a good challenge, and I'm confident in my quality of doing readings with the cards because I've been doing it for a while. I've been doing this since 2000 and following my intuitive abilities anyway without cards. So I was pretty feeling okay, and I just noticed it. And I thought, okay, well, I'm just going to pay attention to the cards and not get distracted by your skepticism. And I have found also by doing fairs and that kind of thing and reading for the public that sometimes I'll get people that sit there and they're like, they won't share one word and they just want to have me say everything and do all the work to prove that I'm actually legitimate. And I understand that. I totally get it because there's been a lot of readers who have come before us who have scammed the public and they just want your money. And that's usually comes under the archetype of gypsy. So, and I get that. So hopefully I and all the other readers that I know that we can change that misconception about readers that we're all trying to scam someone. I'm just doing my dharma of helping people heal emotionally, help them make decisions, help them on their path, help them find their path. So what happened was,
tell me.
I know I can digress, can't I? So anyway, she was sitting there, and I just started throwing the cards and I felt guided and I was on. And I, we closed that place down because she started asking all these questions. And I knew when she was asking a bunch of questions, she opened up more. I could feel her energy field opening up. And I knew I was reaching her.
So it's kind of like the Ouija board. If you're open, you can let in a bunch of negative stuff. And if you're getting a reading and you don't open, then
you're not going to get the help. You're not going to get as much help as you need. Because if you stay shut down and I'm not going to believe and then there's no point in even doing it, because you're basically telling the universe no, and the universe honors free will. And if you don't believe the reading that the reader is going to get ready to do, then the universe is going to say, and so it is, whether you believe it or not,
both are true.
You're right. I think that was a quote from Henry Ford, I believe. And I love that because it's so true. So, but I don't know. I think that I was able to not let that affect me. And I focused on the cards, and my mission there was to help her. And when I focused on that, even though in my peripheral vision she was skeptical and closed and shut off and cautious, I was able to get her to soften up and become more open to it, to the reading. And she saw that the result of my reading for her helped her to open up more to the reading and become more responsive and asking questions.
So she got her proof, her receipts.
Yeah, she got her receipts, she got her answers and her help. And then I started going to her home every month, once a month after that, for the next, I don't know, 2 years and
Wow.
now it's
So
like,
she needed a lot of help.
well, we all do, but that showed me, that for me was feedback. And oh, she was great. She would feed me chocolate and everything and bring all these wonderful treats that she
And were
got.
you getting paid to do this, or you just started doing it?
The agreement was that she would give me feedback because I was just starting out reading for the public regularly.
So-
And I wanted the feedback, and I didn't want to take money from her, and she didn't want to give money either. But we had our own exchange. So
Because a lot of times
I didn't feel right about taking money
people feel like
from her.
you can only scam someone if you're taking something from them.
Right. And if you demand the money in this amount and
Mhm.
everything, then you obviously are about the money.
Unless you're like me and I have services that I offer for a certain amount of time.
And, and the agreement is that there should always be an equal
Mhm.
exchange when you're dealing in commerce. In anything, natural law is all about as you give, so you will receive. And it's better to give than to receive.
And I have a hard time just getting something from someone. So for me, it's also when being accused of scamming,
Mhm.
you also are being kind of scammed if you don't get something for your time, because everyone's time is valuable. So I feel like, I helped a lot. I mean, 61 years, I just did it for free for everyone, but there's
bless
only
you.
a certain amount of time.
You were
in a
depositing
day.
into your karma account.
Yeah. But now, if it's a 6.5 hour reading is a long time.
Woo, girl.
And,
you have a lot of stamina. Usually
I couldn't
don't.
have done that before. I'm getting better at it.
Yeah, I think that's a muscle that we can strengthen. And I find that I don't want to do more than 2 readings a day. And
Except for the days when we do
except for the fair.
Yeah. And I think the fair is what made me
Mhm.
stronger, being able to do that.
It does do that. It's
And
like going to the gym.
And if you want information on the fairs that we're talking about, we're both going to be attending one at the end of this month. And this is February 10th of
What, today?
Is today the 10th or the 11th?
The 11th.
The 11th of 2025. So this is why we don't say where we're going to be on a show, because it depends when you see it.
Mhm.
If you go to our websites, which are listed in the show notes, then you can find out more information about each of us and where we are, should you be interested in getting a reading in person
Mhm.
or
Yeah.
online.
Yeah, absolutely. So
we said so, Jinx. So did you have any time where you did it?
that.
Oh, you're not done. Okay, go ahead.
Well, I'm pretty much done, but
Okay.
I just don't, I feel like I just need to complete that sentence or that thought that we spent the next once a month, me coming there and spending all day, and we had a great time, and it was very rewarding for me to be able to see her results and the feedback for my accuracy. And that's what helped me. And I give her all the credit in the world for helping me to develop the skill of delivering readings to the public, to people that I don't know. Because really, that's when you encounter people that are skeptical and cautious.
Mhm.
And I'm not telling you anything because I want you to prove to me that you're psychic, and I get that.
That's the games.
Yeah, and I get that, and
Mhm.
I respect that, and I just ignore it and give them the reading and hope that they're hearing what they need to hear. So I just focus on my part and I let them be who they are, and they're there for a reason.
You're stronger than I am. I like everyone to be happy
Well,
in the end, all the time.
and that's why we love you. Yeah, because you're
So.
very nurturing. You've got the nurturing. I'm not going to reveal your chart, even though I'm referring to it.
Okay.
But, unless you want me to.
Not really.
Okay.
You're the one that warned me about doing that. So.
Yeah. So how about you? What's your experience with skeptical non-believers, having high expectations?
I feel like I've been really challenged by them lately, or that we're being guided as to what episode to air based on the challenges that we're having in our lives. Haven't you felt that way this year since we started the show? Like we have an experience and then that's like the next episode.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like we're being shown what to do. And so
it's like a flow.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I did a reading for someone and I tried to not do it. So why would I not want to do it? Because I could hear her thoughts that
wow.
She wasn't just skeptical. She was angry before even coming in. Maybe the stages of guilt, because where they have you go through denial and then you go through
the stages of grief.
Yeah. So I feel like I was picking up on the stage of grief she was in. And also it was mediumship, which is different than a psychic reading. And so
that's tapping into a loved one from the other side who's passed over.
So a mediumship is tricky because there's a lot of expectations. There's a broken heart. There's grief, which brings your frequency down and makes you not be able to feel the connection between you and your loved one. But also, if there hasn't been enough time since the person passed over or crossed over, they're not necessarily here. They're actually in the afterlife or heaven, however you want to characterize it.
I like afterlife. I like that.
Getting their life review and then meeting up with other family and loved ones, and then learning and exploring and learning how to be just spirit without the body, and how to communicate with loved ones on earth without a body, which is challenging.
So I would ask, then why was she even asking you for a reading if she was skeptical?
Because she wanted an answer as to why her mother had passed away, despite being in the hospital and being sick and everything. But I didn't want to do the reading because the things that she said in communication with me on emails led me to believe that it wasn't the right time for her. And I kept in saying, you should wait a few more months before you try this because of your energy and the statements she was making were preconceived negative beliefs about whether or not she was going to get the message. And I was like, I don't feel like you even really want a reading right now. And at any rate, after 3 times telling her, no, I will not do a reading for her, I just let it happen. And I did a reading for her. And in the experience, or during the reading, it was very like that. She was in another country altogether, but she had that closed off energy. Nothing you can say is going to make me believe. And it is kind of a weird feeling. Why do they want the reading at all? But also wanting it only in a half an hour, which is very challenging for a mediumship. If any of you are mediums and have had a reading and know a half hour is a lot to. And also you can't guarantee one spirit's going to step up. Sometimes they're just shy and they don't want to, and they're just observers. And sometimes they're really energetic. Sometimes there's a spirit that's very active and you don't even like that person or didn't like them. And another thing that happens when people cross over is they become part of true, pure, unconditional love. So part of me was wondering why she would want a reading at all if she had preconceived belief that she wasn't going to get to reach her mother. And in the reading, her mother did come through. It did take an entire month for me to say yes, so that I was trying to, have it prolonged so that there was more chance of her mother being done with her life review, because they kind of like flitter off and they're not really around. And you can't just go, I want you to come here right now. I do not order spirits around. They boss me around. Totally different experience. And sometimes a spirit will show up before the person who wants the reading, also known as the sitter, the client, that person, I haven't even met them yet, but their spirits come early and start to talk to me. So really,
Wow.
I'm not the one. I can't say, today we're going to have a reading. You line up, you line up, you line up, you line up. But if you expect that because you miss your mom, she's the one who died, that's the person you want to talk to, you go to a medium and then you go, I'm placing my order for a reading. Can you please go get my mom in spirit and order her to come here and sit down and have a talk? That is not how it works. So, and sometimes they are there. And like my dad, he didn't take a year to come back. He was back in about 6 months. So that was great. But he suffered a lot before he died, which I think has a lot to do with how long you're over there, because he did a lot of his karma here before he passed on. So she was very aggressive in the reading, but her mom did come through. And it's interesting. I've had several readings where the person wanted there to have been malpractice by the hospital. And when I say that the spirit shows me how they died, they get mad that they aren't getting, yes, it was malpractice. The person, injected something into their IV or whatever. So then they believe that they've been lied to by the medium because they're right and the medium is wrong. And that's kind of ironic, isn't it? Because they're seeking advice. Like they will take my word if I agree with them as fact. But if I don't agree with them, then I'm somehow not being truthful, which is really kind of funny, isn't it? But grief does a lot of things to our abilities.
I've had clients argue with me, like I'm reading their chart. Like I'm thinking about one in particular who was arguing with me like, that's not true. No, I'm not like that. And it's obvious to me the way the natal planets are in the chart that they have a strength or a weakness or susceptibility to this condition. Oh no, that's not true. And some people, some people just don't see it.
That's like painting someone's portrait. Painting people's portraits is tough because how they perceive themselves and how they look to the artist, it could be completely different in certain areas. And so that's one reason I don't like to paint portraits of people.
Yeah, because it's a perspective, right? Everybody has a perspective.
I can do animals, but it's a lot of responsibility to paint someone. But back to the skepticism and the non-believers and expecting deception, these things affect reading. So, we're not God. We're not claiming to be. We're part of God. We're all part of God, but we're not claiming to be I had someone say, you think you're God, you think you're an angel. And I'm like, well, first, I was very sweet. And
congratulations
I said,
on that.
I work with Jesus, trying to live a life that represents what you're supposed to do, which is, be loving and kind and lead with, doing the right thing in life. And I'm losing my train of thought. So why am I losing my train of thought?
I don't know.
Because we got to stay on the expectations. We got to stay on topic there's people that stalk sites where grieving people and psychics and mediums converge and support one another, which is all free. I give over an hour of time every day to answering questions for free. And yet,
do you want to say what that site is?
Quora.
Yeah.
But then I'm accused of being a scammer, but I do that for free all the time. So
you're a free scammer.
Almost every day. Yeah. I spend some time in there because when you lose someone, for me, I don't go, oh no, that person died. I don't have that same response because I've always had spirit but I do know this. I do know that that not everyone, and there are fewer people that are mediums like that see spirit.
Yeah.
After as long as I've been, there's a lot of psychics and they're great. And they are, in my opinion, still receiving as a medium. They just aren't aware that that's what they're doing. So the downloads is really spirit, but when I've seen them, so it's a little bit different. But if you come into it as a skeptic, that's good. It shows intelligence. You should be like questioning these things and educating yourself. But if you go into a reading and you are determined to play a game with the psychic, like, what am I thinking? And, it's sometimes you'll just be asked to leave. I know I can't read you. We're not a good pairing. Find another psychic. And you may think that person's running, but really they're just.
I've never had that kind of a conversation, but what's happened is I can just feel the energy of they didn't get what they were looking for because that's not what I was seeing or getting. So it's like people come in with expectations. Oh, I want to know whether this person I'm interested in is going to like me or likes me, or if we're going to get together. But maybe that it's not good for either one of you, for you two to get together. And sometimes I'm not going to see that. So I'm not going to deliver that message. So they're not going to hear what they want and they walk away disappointed. And I can feel that energy. I can feel that. And I'm just like, that's all right. That's where they're at on their path. And I did the best I could. As long as I know I'm doing the best I can and doing what I'm fulfilling, that I'm fulfilling with my creators, my contract and being a messenger, then what that person thinks is none of my business. It's like I did my best.
Yeah.
So
we're really trying to help people to, if you're going to go and spend some money to go get a reading, you should be prepared to get a reading and not be prepared to be disappointed. So you want to open yourself up. At the fair that we do, one time it's not all the time, but throughout my life, people have always, someone said she's psychic and they go, oh yeah, what am I thinking? I mean, that's a common thing. It's, I'm going to play with this person and so you can be playful, but what is the point of being skeptical? What is the point of even watching this if you're not interested to some degree, is my feeling. But if you go into a reading and you really want information, you are a very important part of the whole entire process. Without the connection between you, as far as a medium is concerned, she has charts and stuff, but I have the spirit. It's all I got to go on. Your spirit is there, and it could be a bunch of people in your life or your family, and it can also be your brother's friend from junior high is sitting inside of your collective of spirits that are watching out for you because he had a crush on you in junior high. It's not always what is expected when people come in there. So it can be a really fun time, but it also takes definitely longer than a half an hour. I have since removed the half-hour option as an option for mediumship.
Yeah, it's too hard to
but
get
yeah, so the components of a successful reading is a believer, a reader, and whatever tools, or if they use spirit, which I believe spirit's involved in all of them, and trust. Yeah. An agreement that there is an ultimate goal to receive the information that person is clearly needing, or they wouldn't be seeking. So you have something else that you wanted
I just wanted to add to that a lot of times when we put expectations on a certain scenario, we want something. Sometimes we have to not get too attached to that because we're setting ourselves up for getting disappointed. So I just like to go in trusting, keyword trusting that I am being a messenger for the creator, the divine, in helping those who are feeling drawn to me. So if nobody comes, then that's fine. I don't get attached to and disappointed and depressed that nobody came to see me.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm at a fair, for example, I'm just like, okay, well, I was here in order to connect with the other messengers and readers here and healers.
So that's your expectations.
So my expectations and the client's expectations, it's anybody. It's like, I think the principle of just letting go and trusting and allowing can open up the door to receiving a very good inspirational message, as long as you're open to the truth, because sometimes the truth hurts. So sometimes a person, they come for answers and they're going to get something that they don't want to hear. But if they can come in with an open mind going, well, maybe I don't really know, and this is what I needed to hear, I'm going to think about it and see if I can embrace that answer. So the expectation can get in the way of the help that you're seeking, is what I'm saying.
Expectations are hard in life, period. and you throw in the unseen, then that makes it even more challenging. You have faith or you don't have faith, and this is a faith-based practice that we're in.
It is.
And both of us are walking with Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is a very beautiful experience, and 99.999% of the time it's lovely and people get a real healing from it. It's amazing,
I love
the
it.
difference. So if you are a naysayer, why? And that would be a person that no matter what, everyone else is wrong and you are right, and everyone that believes in this is a fool, which is really harsh language, but that's being used a lot. Like,
and you know, the truth is that people that have that mindset usually aren't going to ask for any answers because they're going around telling other people.
But they're just lurking around, just trying to ruin everyone's party, you know?
You know, and I like to know that we are magnets for the proper souls that are drawn to us. So
but there's still those non-believers out there trying to tell people not to go. Oh, what do you mean you're going to go to you're going to go get a reading? So this is what this topic is about, right? We're talking about.
And then you get into the how much of that, what they think is, do I care? Because I don't want to be in that position. And I've really worked on myself enough to where I can truly not care what other people think. And oh my gosh, I know by saying that I'm going to get tested, but
you just spoke that.
But I have, you know, it's all right because I've already been tested, and it's so freeing in knowing my chart, because I have some transits that are creating freedom for me, and freedom in what I think and not really caring what other people think about me, so that I can be more free. And that as a result, I can be more of service and more helpful to others when I don't care what they think about me. So
yeah, it isn't that
nice.
It isn't that I feel like I gotta get approval, but I feel that they're cheating themselves out of a beautiful experience. And it's sad, you know, because spirits, that they genuinely want you to be happy. The shift that happens from being alive in human form and then going to spirit, the personalities still are the same. But if a person was cruel and unkind and abusive, they are not that anymore. And so people expect them to still be cruel and mean, and they transform from human to spirit with pure unconditional love, or they pretty much don't come through. I haven't had like an angry spirit come through. I have remorseful. I mean, in a reading for a person. You have an angry spirit?
Recently. And it's very distressing, you know, but when I find myself understanding more than trying to be understood, and I've been there myself. And I think the fact that I can recognize a situation or a condition where I was there myself and I remember it, then I can be more understanding to that person. When you say angry spirit, I mean having going through a phase in their life where they're experiencing a lot of anger and it's coming out in their energy.
But you're talking about the live person. I'm talking about the spirit.
Oh, the spirit on the other side.
Spirits coming through, because I'm a medium.
They're both
right?
living entities. Yeah.
So when they go into spirit, I have not seen them carry anger with them. They all come through. And
that's awesome.
Even though they've been abused or they were abusive, they are now loving, caring, and part of their karma is to try to be kind and loving and supportive in the afterlife to help that child they abused. For instance, if they were physically abusive to a child due to mental illness or abuse of different drugs or alcohol, or for any other reason, their abuse from not resolving issues, and now they're in spirit, they come through this sweet, loving, kind person, and the person that I'm reading for is like, but they were never nice to me. and they're very apologetic, and I'm really sorry. They want forgiveness, but they often are not given forgiveness from the person that's living, because they're like, well, I'm not going to forgive him. Well, they're still going to be working on your behalf, trying to make it up to you.
And I think that's because they're on the other side and they have the bird's eye view of what it's all about, of what this whole existence on planet Earth is all about. And then they get on the other side and they see the bird's eye view of what the plan was. And they're like, oh, I get it. And then
they see their life review. They see how how their actions affected the person that's sitting reading for me. And they get to see how that affected the next person and the next person, and how far that spread out, that action. And that's positive and negative things that you have done in your life. When you go into the afterlife, you're shown all of the different people it affected in a positive or a negative way. So that changes or helps the spirit. And also when you go into spirit, you can see all the future. Like your Aunt Eleanor, she knows your future. And she's always trying to keep her on track of following her.
That's funny, because I used to know a medium in Big Bear, and Eleanor came through him, and it was an amazing message. It's like, he said that she said, and you almost said it, that she sees good things coming for me, which was so encouraging.
Yeah,
it's very helpful to hear.
As long as you don't stop it from happening.
As long as I don't get in my own way.
As long as you don't get distracted.
Yeah.
That's what she keeps showing.
Distracted.
Stay on your path.
Distracted?
Don't get
distracted by that squirrel over there?
Don't get distracted by someone else's thing and lose track of yours. You already know what.
I know that is.
And you have your chart to help guide you.
Yeah. I know.
I look at a chart and I'm like, I have absolutely no idea. That looks like a lot of work. And so, yeah. I feel complete. This card.
Yeah, we didn't even pull a card yet.
I told you.
Because we had so much to say on that topic, and you saw that.
I did.
It's amazing, and look at that.
So what does that mean?
Well, can we see that? So it's 7 of Cups. And if you can see that its cups are here is more it's feelings, and you see this dark person here looking up at all these different topics, items, things.
Is that like what I was just talking about?
Yeah.
Like you need to stay focused on your own thing, but there's lots of things you could do.
Oh my gosh. Well, look at, and it's like,
which one I'm seeing.
Which one should I pick? And I've been going through that. Like, which one should I do? Which one should I book? I've been asking Claire, it's like, do you think I should do this, or this? And I'm like, oh my gosh, can I just do it all? Why can't I just do it all? So the 7 of Cups is typically you're getting a lot of guidance as to all these options of what to do, and follow your feeling, your intuitive feeling as to what you feel guided to do and what your vision is. And then Claire just pulled
the Temple Path.
The Temple Path. Okay, so the Temple Path, and for those of you viewers too who resonate with this too, this is looking at all these options. Which one should I pick? Which one should I do? Well, go for the Temple Path. And the Temple Path means to go into the temple and meditate and see.
Maybe you're supposed to meditate.
Yeah, meditate more.
Which thing you're supposed to do.
I know it's hard when you get really busy with all these things you're doing, and then you have to make time for the meditation. And I do meditation while I do yoga. So it's I can accomplish 2 things with one thing.
Now, how can those cards apply to doubting and keeping this on topic, on being, helping your belief? Maybe definitely meditate before you go to a reading. Think about it. What do you really want to get from it?
What is your intention? Yeah. Ask yourself, maybe even write down what your intention is and what kind of answers, what your questions are, and ask for guidance to the right reader or the right person. Mm-hmm. Ask your creator, your higher power for guidance.
Because we do that. We ask for guidance. I ask to hear what I'm supposed to hear, see what I'm supposed to see, say what I'm supposed to say, and I pray. This isn't an ego-based thing. This is a communion with God and Jesus and the Holy Spirit. And
It's a partnership.
yeah. And
Yeah.
we just are kind of like, or I am speaking for myself as a conduit to just information comes in. And anytime I say the word, I think, I stop and I repeat the prayer and I ask to set my ego aside so that I don't have an opinion, which
That's good.
sometimes Spirit will say something to her through me and she'll argue with me. And I go, you realize I wasn't the one who said that. and you kind of have the same thing. That your part of that is the chart, right? It's in the chart. I'm not trying to insult you.
Right?
It's in your chart.
This is what I'm thinking. So Claire has to keep reminding me that it's not her, that I'm arguing with the spirit. So I'm like, oh, okay. Well, thanks for reminding me.
She argues with her aunt. I'm not the one who said that. That's
some things don't change. So
I hope that those of you who have been on the fence feel like it's okay that you're feeling that way. Because some people have complete faith right off the bat and are just accepting, and they'll have lots of experiences. You don't have to be left out. Open up, realize your spirit in a body, not the other way around. And the magic can come to you as well, but you have to have belief.
And and then just follow your urge, your guidance. And that's what the 7 of Cups is. It's just know what you're feeling and what it is that you feel guided and directed at. That it's like an urge, and just do it. See what happens.
And sometimes something will happen.
What you notice.
Like you'll see like the sky and you'll feel pulled to something because the in between and far beyond calls to you in lots of ways.
And that's what we're talking about.
I hope you enjoyed this week's episode of Beyond Reason.
Absolutely. Good to see y'all. Ciao. Till next time.
Bye.